Welcome to Unsolved Historical Mysteries. Why did the Roman Empire fall? Uncovering conspiracy theories and shocking truths. The fall of the Roman Empire is one of history's most debated mysteries. At its height, Rome controlled vast territories, boasting advanced infrastructure, a powerful military, and a sophisticated legal system. So how could such a formidable civilization collapse? Historians have proposed a wide range of explanations: political corruption, military decline, economic crises, and cultural changes, among others. But was the fall of Rome caused by external invasions alone? Or were there deeper, internal factors at play? In this video, we'll explore the complex reasons behind the empire's collapse. We'll dive into political instability, military challenges, economic struggles, and cultural shifts that contributed to the downfall. We'll also examine more speculative ideas, like internal sabotage and the role of Christianity, and ask whether the empire's fall was inevitable. Let's start by looking at one of the key issues that plagued Rome. In its final centuries, political instability and corruption. One of the most significant contributors to Rome's collapse was its growing political instability. As the empire expanded, it became increasingly difficult to govern such a vast and diverse territory. By the 3rd century, Rome faced a succession of short-lived emperors, many of whom were assassinated or overthrown. For instance, during the crisis of the 3rd century, 235–284 AD, Rome saw more than 20 emperors in just 50 years, most of them meeting violent ends. This constant turnover created chaos and weakened the central authority. Generals often vied for power, leading to internal conflicts that further destabilized the empire. The result was a lack of continuity in leadership, which made it difficult to enact long-term solutions to Rome's problems. In 285 AD, Emperor Diocletian attempted to address this instability by dividing the empire into two halves, the Eastern and Western Roman empires. While this move was meant to make governing more efficient, it ended up fragmenting the empire. The eastern half, later known as the Byzantine Empire, thrived for centuries, while the Western Empire struggled with internal discord and external invasion. Corruption also played a significant role. The wealthy elite used their influence to avoid paying taxes, while the burden fell on the lower classes. For example, large landowners would often bribe officials to reduce their tax liabilities, pushing the financial strain onto small farmers and city dwellers. This inequality deepened social unrest and weakened the empire's ability to fund its defense and infrastructure. The result: a politically divided, economically strained empire that was vulnerable to both internal strife and external threats. Next, let's explore how the military decline made Rome susceptible to barbarian invasions. Rome's military was once the strongest in the world, a key factor in its rise to power. The legions, known for their discipline and training, had successfully defended the empire's borders for centuries. But by the 4th and 5th centuries, the Roman military was a shadow of its former self. One major reason was the shift in loyalty among the legions. Instead of being loyal to the state, many soldiers began to follow their commanders, who often had personal political ambitions. These internal power struggles weakened the unity of the military. At the same time, Rome faced increasing pressure from external enemies. Barbarian groups like the Visigoths, Vandals, and Huns began pushing into Roman territory. These groups weren't just random raiders. They were organized forces seeking new lands and resources. A key turning point came in 410 AD, when the Visigoths, led by King Alaric, Sacked the city of Rome. This was the first time in nearly 800 years that Rome had fallen to a foreign enemy, and it sent shockwaves throughout the empire. The event symbolized Rome's vulnerability and marked a significant step toward the empire's eventual collapse. Other barbarian groups followed suit. In 455 AD, the Vandals sacked Rome again, this time causing even greater destruction. Meanwhile, the Huns, led by the fearsome Attila, ravaged the empire's territories, further destabilizing the Western Roman Empire. The Roman military, which had once been an unstoppable force, could no longer protect its borders. As the empire faced these external invasions, its internal problems only worsened. Now, let's explore how economic crises further weakened the empire. Rome's economic troubles were another key factor in its downfall. Heavy taxation, inflation, and a reliance on slave labor created a perfect storm of economic instability. The empire had long relied on the spoils of conquests to fund its military and infrastructure. But as expansion slowed, so did the flow of wealth into the empire. One major problem was inflation. To fund their wars and lavish lifestyles, Roman emperors began debasing the currency by reducing the amount of silver in coins. This led to runaway inflation, as the value of money plummeted and prices soared. At the same time, the empire's tax system became increasingly burdensome. Small farmers and city dwellers bore the brunt of the tax burden, while the wealthy elites found ways to evade taxes. This deepened the divide between rich and poor, causing widespread social unrest. Rome also faced a decline in agricultural production. Many small farmers were forced to abandon their land due to high taxes, leading to food shortages and rising prices. This problem was exacerbated by Rome's reliance on slave labor, which stifled technological innovation. With little incentive to improve productivity, the economy stagnated. As Rome's economy crumbled, so did its social fabric. Cities that had once been thriving, centers of trade and culture, fell into disrepair, and the empire's infrastructure, including roads and aqueducts, deteriorated. The decline of urban centers also meant a decline in commerce, further weakening the empire's economic base. With an unstable economy and a disillusioned population, Rome was ill-equipped to face the challenges of its final years. Next, let's examine the cultural and religious shifts that played a role in Rome's transformation. The rise of Christianity during the 4th century marked a major cultural shift in the Roman Empire. What began as a small, persecuted, religious sect eventually became the empire's official religion. After Emperor Constantine's conversion to Christianity in 312 AD, the faith spread rapidly throughout the empire. By 380 AD, under Emperor Theodosius, Christianity was declared the official religion, and traditional Roman polytheism was effectively replaced. For many Romans, Christianity offered a new sense of hope and purpose. During a time of crisis, the idea of salvation and eternal life resonated with a population disillusioned by political corruption and social decay. The Christian Church also provided a sense of stability, as it became a powerful institution that rivaled even the emperor in influence. However, some historians argue that the rise of Christianity may have weakened Rome, as the empire shifted away from traditional values that emphasized military strength and civic duty. Some believe that Christianity's focus on the afterlife led to a decline in Rome's military prowess. Christian leaders often preached nonviolence and encouraged followers to focus on spiritual matters rather than worldly affairs, which may have contributed to Rome's inability to defend itself effectively. But this theory is controversial. Others argue that Christianity helped preserve Roman culture and provided a moral framework that guided the empire through its final years. By the time of Rome's fall, Christianity had become deeply embedded in Roman society, and its legacy would shape the future of Europe. Finally, let's explore some of the more speculative theories surrounding Rome's fall. Beyond the traditional explanations for Rome's collapse, there are several alternative theories. One such theory is that Rome was sabotaged from within by its own elites. According to this idea, certain members of the aristocracy deliberately weakened the empire's institutions to protect their wealth and power by hoarding resources and manipulating political decisions. These elites may have accelerated the empire's downfall. Another intriguing theory points to climate change as a potential factor in Rome's decline. Evidence from tree rings and ice cores suggests that there were periods of cooling and drought during the 4th and 5th centuries. These environmental changes may have disrupted agriculture, leading to food shortages and further straining the empire's already fragile economy. There's also the idea that Rome's collapse was simply part of a broader historical cycle. Some theorists argue that all great civilizations eventually fall due to a combination of internal weaknesses and external pressures. From the Maya to the Mongols, history is filled with examples of once great empires that eventually succumbed to decline. Ultimately, the fall of Rome was not caused by a single event or factor. It was the result of a complex web of political, military, economic, and cultural changes that played out over centuries. Rome's collapse remains one of history's greatest mysteries, a cautionary tale of how even the mightiest empires can fall. If you found this video helpful or interesting, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.